will be there when you fire. So I'm going to press down a little bit in the middle. That's where the drain's going to go. And then I'm going to press down really, really hard and get rid of that. Oh. Compress it. Like in any pot, whether it's a bowl or whether it's a vase, you really want the bottom to be perfect before you start. You'll mess it up probably, but you want to start with perfection. And now you don't want this outside too far outside here, so we're going to bring this in just a little bit. And we're just going to hug this clay. And squeeze it in gently. Because of centrifugal force forcing this clay out, you always want it to turn in slightly. And while I'm doing this, I'm rolling my thumb over the top to make sure that the rim stays compressed. So now I have it turned in, and that's basically what I want. Now it's a process of throwing the clay, so I'm going to grab the clay right down here on this outside with my knuckle, and I put the sponge right in the middle of that, and my hand on the inside is going to be opposite, and I'm going to control this rim the whole time. Keep my knuckle and the hand right on my leg, keep it from bouncing, and I bring this up. Now I don't want to thin this out too much because it's going to be way out here. So I have to keep this thick. I'm really working on a lot of compression. Really just not moving a lot of clay, just compressing it, pushing it towards itself. Pressing down, keeping that rim nice and thick. I need to bring it in a little bit. It's getting a little too far outside. Once it's too wide, there's not much you can do about it, so it's really important not to let that happen to you. I've been throwing sinks for about 30 years. The first ones that we threw were basically bowls with holes in them. And my friend Bob Zavlinsky, Bob Z, and I started throwing sinks back in the Art Center at Mendocino Art Center back in the 70s, I guess, so maybe it's longer. Oops. Got to change the bio, I just aged. And after we installed some, we always got feedback from the people that put them in, the plumbers and the carpenters, and the people who used them. Now I'm grabbing some clay at the bottom, lifting it up. Right here I'm not lifting, I'm just pushing in, compressing. I don't want to thin this top out. I want to take the clay from the bottom, which is standard for every single pot you'll ever throw. You want to put the clay down here. And I'm lifting with my left hand on the inside also. Basically, for a sink, you want to keep it thick, but you want to get it as high as you can before you widen it at all. Because right now it's about 12 inches wide. When it gets to be around 16 inches wide, you really start losing control of it. And so if it's not perfect, you'll suffer. So I'm getting clay from way down at this bottom. I'm pushing out with my left hand. I'm controlling the rim with my left thumb. And I'm lifting up, and when I get here, I lighten up, just holding it still. So it's starting to look like a sink. There's some excess here. So again, I'm going to press down right at the bottom, get my thumb under a groove, press out with my left hand, control the rim, lift. I try not to use a lot of water, though I find that when I'm all done I'm bathed, so I guess I use more than I think. And I'm letting the sink come out a little bit by itself, just naturally from the centrifugal force. It's at this point that I want to make sure that I got enough meat up here to do all the things I want to do on the rim before it gets any farther out. So I'm pushing down and thickening that rim and turning it in. So you see it's turned in here. And in doing so, I just widened this pot. So I don't have to do too much to get it wide. And now I'm actually throwing a curve up to that rim. Now a sink, a hand-thrown sink, because it's round, has a tremendous volume in it. Most sinks that you buy commercially are a half a circle or a square. These hold a tremendous amount of liquid. So the rim will be real important in turning any of that liquid in, excuse me, that sloshes around when your 7-year-old decides to float his boats in it. And I need to get a ruler, so I'm going to just counter. The vanity is about 22-23 inches. So the sink can't be more than about 16 inches, as you need room for the faucets and you need room to be able to set it in. So we try to throw most of our sinks around 18 inches, and they'll shrink 2 inches, and that'll be about 16. Right now that sink is 14 3/4. So slowly we're going to widen it out. Now I haven't used any tools other than my hands, and I got a pretty good curve there. But if you had problems with that, that's where you use, you want to use ribs. Where's my big rib? Got one over there, I'll grab. About the bigger the tools. Now before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and, now first I'll think I'll shape it a little more, and then I'll go ahead and do the bottom, the drain. It needs to come up just a little more. A lot of pressure with my left hand now. Left hand's really what's going on. My right hand's just supporting the clay. And I'm bringing it out very, very gently, a little at a time. And if you want to see that, remember it was 14 3/4 before, now it's 15 1/8. Next time it'll be closer to 16 or 17.